Yeah, hi, and welcome back to my channel. This channel is all about getting you comfortable using some programming languages like Python or React.js. Also, we're gonna cover a lot of database development using SQL and data warehouse technologies. I'm also planning to give you some basic overviews about cloud technologies and such a nice stuff. So in general, if you are interested in some of the topic and want to have me covered one of the specific topics you need, just drop a comment below and I will be happy to follow your request. Yeah, without further ado, in this lesson number 2 from the series Getting Started with Python, we're going to learn how to create a Json file with a dictionary, uh, a first data entry. So if you are not yet familiar with Json, let me know. We can do a video where we cover the Json format in detail. But the Json format is a very handy uh, file format where we can access specific data values using lists and dictionaries, and also navigate, like we can concatenate a list within a dictionary and a dictionary within a list. Like it's very powerful and very popular in daily use. So after we've created the JSON file, we in step 2, we're going to read the data that's stored in the file and load them into a Pandas data frame. So Pandas is a very popular module uh, uh, in Python. Um, Also, if you are not yet familiar with Pandas, just let me know and then we can create a video to go deeper into Pandas. And then in the last step, we're gonna um, build a little script where we're gonna add additional rows and data sets to the file. So in general, you will be after this lesson, you will feel comfortable using JSON, storing data into a file, reading from the file, and yeah, move forward within your JSON journey. Yeah, so let's get started. Today we're going to use the command line, the terminal. Starting from the next videos, I'm gonna switch to an EDA. So personally, I use Visual Studio Code because the more complex the program or the scripts get, the more you will need some assistance from the IDE. And Visual Studio is one of my favorites. But out of those simple scripts, using a terminal window is more than efficient. So we are here in this directory named YouTube where we don't have any files. So we start by creating a directory where we're gonna store our code. Let's call it Python Json. And let's move inside this directory. By the way, all the code I'm writing right now will be published on GitHub, and I will also put the link in the description below, so you don't need to write everything down. You can just go to my GitHub and download the code there. So first thing first, we're gonna create a Python file, and we're gonna name it write dash JSON, no, JSON.py, and here first we're gonna import JSON. I'm a little bit excited for this video. So after that, we're gonna create a list. So I personally always like to start a JSON as a list to be able to add more dictionaries. And within the list, we're gonna add a dictionary with a name. We need to put them in parentheses. Name. So my name is Adil, and then age, 45, and city is Frankfurt. This is where I live. Okay. So this is a valid JSON format as a list, including one data entry. And once we have this done, we're gonna create a file. And this file we're gonna call person.json. And the file need an access, which will be a write access here, and we're gonna declare it as file. So this is a function. It shouldn't bother you too much. We're gonna have some more details videos on how you can write functions, but within this function we're gonna call the JSON dump and pass our list to our file, and that's it. Now we can call our script Python 3 write json.py, and a file here person.js should be created. We can check what's inside. JS, yeah, exactly what we put. The JSON, the data in JSON format are in the file. Let's exit the file, and then now we're gonna go to step number 2, and write a script on how to read the data as a table. So we start by creating a new script that we're going to call read json.py. Again, we need to import JSON. Oh, this keeps happening all the time. And also we're gonna use another module or package called Pandas as PD. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna read the data from the file that we name person.json. Mode is read. Unfortunately, with this method, you cannot open read and write. So if you know how to access a file with read and write at the same time, just let me know. I'll be interested. And we're gonna pass the data inside the file to a variable, to a JSON variable that we're gonna call data, and we're gonna pass the data by load and then file. All right, so the data from the file should be in our data variable now. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna create a data frame, a Pandas data frame. So pd dot data frame, capital F, and we're gonna pass the data. The data frame, we're gonna pass it to a variable that we're gonna call df, and that should be it. We can see what happened if we print df. Let's save the script and call it Python 3 read JSON, and here we go. So the JSON data has been passed to the Pandas data frame, and we can see it here with a couple of entries. So what we're going to do next is step 3. Let me check. Yeah, we're going to write some funny script to add additional entries to this data frame. So let's create an additional script that we're gonna name add person. We start by importing JSON and also Pandas as PD. And the same way we've done it before, we need to read the data from the file. So we're gonna open the file in read mode. JSON mode read and declare it as file. So again, in Python, once you are within a function or a method, you're always gonna move your code with one tap, but we're gonna go into the detail later. So here, I don't want to call it file, but file, and data is equal to JSON dot load file. So this is basically the same code that we have wrote in our second script, where we simply just read the content from the file and pass it to this data variable, which is a list. And what we're going to do next is we're going to define a couple of variables, name, age, and city. And once the script is running, we're going to ask the user to enter some value. This is something we went through within lesson number 1, so you should be comfortable using this. So we will ask, please enter a name. For age, we will ask, please enter an age. And guess what? For the city, input, please enter a city. Cool. Once we have those 3 values, we want to pass them into a new dictionary. So we're gonna create a new dictionary that we're gonna call dict. And the dict name, age, and city. So for the key name, we're gonna pass the value name. For the key age, we're gonna pass the value age, and for the key city, we're gonna pass the value city. Okay. So we have our data, which is a JSON list that already contained some dictionaries, and after we have entered some values in the command line, we're going to pass them to a new dictionary, and we're going to add this dictionary to the list by typing data append dict. Perfect. And last but not least, we want to read everything back to the file so that every time we call the file, we get like all the actual data. So unfortunately, with this method open, you can only either open the file in read or write mode. So we need to type this function again. But there are, of course, more elegant ways to do that. But we just want to keep it simple. Gonna call it file again and JSON dump data to file. And that should be it. Once we save the file, let's first of all read the data from the file. So we have one entry, a deer, age 35, city Frankfurt. And now let's call the add person script. So first we've been asked a name, let's say John. Age, John is 25. City, John lives in New York City. Okay. So now, once we read from the file, we see that we have now 2 entries. A deer from Frankfurt, and John from New York City. So let's add some more data. Name, let's say Mark. Mark is 30 and he's from Paris. Once add, let's read the data again, and then we can see we have 3 entries. So that was it for this lesson. You were able to create a Python file, a JSON file, put data in it, and then read data out of it. So I hope this lesson has helped you getting more comfortable with Python and JSON. And if you have any comments or recommendations, please don't hesitate to paste it down below in the comment. And of course, like and subscribe, because this will help me create more of this content if you like. Okay, thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye bye.